Welcome back to the Broad Street Benchwarmers podcast. My name is Adam Den. Ethan Lividitis and Michael Formos are here with me. And we have a special guest. Carter Watson has joined us once again. Hoping to have him on here more often and have a full crew tonight for an off-season week of the NFL season. How did this work out, guys?
I have no idea.
Yep.
This just happened.
Yeah. We'll take it, though. We have the all-star team serving for a week where there was no football being played, but it is what it is.
we got is this what, fourth week in a row uploading?
Yeah.
Well,
Look at us, man.
yeah.
Look at us, man. And it's going to be
4 weeks in a row
consistent.
uploading with
on
the
the
three of
grind.
us at least.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the spot. This is our time. So we're going to keep at it. Be sure to keep following along on the Instagram. Keep following along on the YouTube. We know the views aren't exactly through the roof right now, but we hope they're getting there soon. That's the
I don't
goal,
think we've been
right?
saying that for 6 years, but who cares?
We have been saying that for 6 years. You know what? We're
It's all
we're
for
still
fun.
here, right? We're still here. We ain't dead yet. All right. No, we're here today to discuss the ever-changing NFL head coaching cycle, which does not sound fun in its premise, but has been an incredibly wild ride with multiple long-term head coaches being fired, a plethora of big names being thrown around. I mean,
Big words. Wow.
yeah, big word. I mean, big words for a big cycle. Let's just start off by talking like this has been insane overall.
I mean, wait, this is the NFL record, right? 10.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah. I can't think of anything like it over the past couple of years. I think there's been years where there have been better candidates for sure. I think last year there was kind of an influx of, offensive talent, and this year there's certainly less of that, but I'd say there are a lot of proven head coaches that are getting jobs in this cycle, and that's incredibly interesting. So we're going to go down through the list. We're going to talk about them all in some capacity, and then we're going to do some awards because it is technically awards week, and even though most of them are kind of self-explanatory, there are a couple that are a little sneaky-deaky, so we're going to dive
Sprinkle
into
some
that.
coordinator talk in there too.
Yeah, sprinkle some coordinator talk in there too. There's
Coordinators matter too.
yeah, I wonder which jobs were open this cycle, guys. I don't know. Yeah,
All of them.
City of Philadelphia. I wonder what happened there. So yeah, where do we want to start? Who do we want to start with? I'll let everybody choose a coordinator, and we can go from there. Carter, why don't you start? Pick a coordinator, and we'll start talking. It can be your favorite. It can be your least favorite. It can be in the middle.
I'll pick my most indifferent hire, which is
Always a great way to start.
maybe not most indifferent, but let's say most out of left field. Manny into Philadelphia it didn't seem like what I expected just because of where the original reports were coming from. It seemed like the goal was to get somebody very experienced, and they did not that at all.
Yeah.
But with that said, with the experience he has as a backup quarterback for a long stretch of time, and then now being with LaFleur, where they've done great things with the offense. Obviously, he wasn't a play caller or anything like that, but he was involved as a quarterback's coach. I'm curious. I'm not willing to endorse one way or the other, but I think it's probably going to be the most exciting one to follow.
I liked the hire. I mean, I thought it was better than a lot of the options that were being thrown around at the time of the hire. I mean, we talked about like they were saying Matt Nagy maybe.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been ugly. The Giants guy would have been
Like
awful.
Kafka, yeah.
I like the hire. Obviously, as Carter touched on, I think just recently being a player is huge. Just being in offenses, being around play callers obviously helps. It's not like they hired it's not like we'll get into a little bit, but it's not like Monken, who's so far removed playing football, who hasn't called offensive plays. So but I like the hire. Obviously, they've done Jordan Love's not my favorite quarterback, but he went from unplayable to solid, near Pro Bowl level quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He's 33, and I think a big reason they made this hire too, that a lot of people aren't talking about, is that they're just trying to get a guy that can keep in the building for more than a year. This is not going to be a one and done. Whether it's he's going to hit a head coaching job or he's going to get fired. He's 33. I mean, he could do great this year, but there's still going to be a lot to grow. I think there'll be growing pains in the beginning, but I think this is a guy who have a couple years of offensive play calling and hopefully he gets more experience. Just hope that Sirianni's kind of hands off with it. Kind of lets him do his thing. We know how he likes to kind of encroach on the offense a little bit, but I really like the hire. I know a lot of Eagles fans didn't. I'm not an Eagles fan, so it doesn't really affect me. But I liked it. It would have been my top choice out of the people that were left. So, and he's 33. He's young.
Yeah. I mean, as
That
an
could
Eagles
resonate
fan,
with players.
yeah. I don't have a strong opinion on it. I do think that the the LaFleur and then technically like Shanahan sort of schematic I guess integration into into the roster would be something that I'm very excited to see. I don't know how well it'll work out, but yeah, I did not want Matt Nagy. That seemed to be the prevailing sort of voice for a number of weeks. And I just want stability. I just want a play caller that does not frustrate me. And yeah, as long as we get that the sort of approach that's been going on in Green Bay for a few years, and I won't mind at all. Like what he did with Jordan Love and Malik Willis was very good. So I think it definitely could translate, like especially how they ran the ball with Josh Jacobs. I think that'll do wonders for Saquon. And yeah, and I mean their offensive approach is weird because they have like a bunch of number twos pretty much in their offense, and we have two pretty much number ones. So it'll be interesting to see sort of how it works out. But I will say that it wasn't like one that came to mind immediately, but also I'm much more optimistic than I would have been otherwise.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement. I think the utilization of the middle of the field is a staple of the Shanahan offense. It's something that we've talked about for years and years. Why does the Philadelphia Eagles offense play such simplistic football? And, even though Jalen Hurts isn't the best, thrower of the football as far as timing in that region of the field, it's certainly an area which you'd like to at least touch on. And then you'd like to be more versatile as a run game. And Green Bay certainly does, run a greater variety of run concepts than this Philadelphia Eagles team does. So that gives you hope. But I think at the end of the day, what gives me even more hope was the fact that the guy who I was actually my favorite choice for offensive coordinator is still coming in the building. And that's something that we haven't touched on yet, but Josh Rizard is going to be the pass game coordinator. So just adding another voice in the building, a guy who I thought was unjustly fired in Tampa Bay. They just suffered a lot of injuries over the course of the season, but I thought when they were healthy earlier in the season, this is an offense that, showed to be building on what Liam Cohen did a year ago as far as what they were doing in the run game. And then, as a pass game, continuing with the same kind of progress as far as the different route concepts they were giving to a guy like Emeka Egbuka to get him open at the line of scrimmage. So I'm excited to see how that's incorporated. I still feel as if, their voices will likely be tamed in the spotlight of that is Nick Sirianni. But I think, you're at least bringing smart, competent people into the building, and that's sensible to me.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Ethan, hit us again.
Okay. I mean, I'm wearing the O's hat. I do want to talk about Jesse Mentor. I do think, it's probably my favorite hire, I guess, in the cycle. I do think what he did in LA was extremely impressive, and bringing in Declan Doyle as OC is very interesting too from the Bears. So, yeah, we can start with that.
Yeah.
Can
Talk
about that and then go around back to me, and then I'll talk a little more.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll go. I guess. I mean, it's an interesting hire. I mean, it's a very Ravens hire, if that makes sense. I mean, they obviously, for years we talked about how good of a defense the Baltimore Ravens had, and they were terrible this year. Even though they had good players, just schematically didn't come together. I don't know if he's going to have a big impact on that changing. But if he does, obviously we know the offense is explosive with Lamar Jackson, Henry, Zay Flowers, good line. I mean, it'll just be interesting to see if that defense can bounce back. It's a defensive-minded head coach, so I
Yeah.
mean, I like it. It was fine. It was a hire that made sense for a team that I was kind of surprised fired Harbaugh, but one of the more shocking openings of the offseason.
Yeah. You just bring in a proven voice, right? And I think that's one of the crucial things in their search was, you're replacing a guy in John Harbaugh who's been there for so long and established such consistency. You want to still have some carryover from what you saw as kind of the more beneficial qualities of that. And you're getting a guy who's directly in that system. I completely agree with you. Zach Orr seemed completely in over his head for most of his tenure as defensive coordinator, and now with Minter stepping in, that should only improve. And I thought Declan Doyle was one of the best candidates in the Eagles search. I think what they did in Chicago this year was truly really special. He had any say in the game plan that really opened things up for Caleb Williams and allowed him to develop and grow as a player this season, then I think he absolutely should thrive with Lamar Jackson. So I really like this hire. I think it was a safe hire, but it really was the best one in my eyes.
Yeah, I love the mentor hire. For me, I think I love the mentor hire, and I love Declan O'Doyle as an offensive coordinator. I think that there was so much in Baltimore that had just kind of stalled over time with when you have a coach tenured as long as John Harbaugh was tenured in Baltimore, sooner or later things need to change. And that was the message from the Ravens ownership. And they got younger. And I think that we can get new perspectives. The defense obviously was a lot weaker than everybody thought it would be. Part of that can be attributed to players like Nate Wiggins not performing at the level it was expected in the preseason. Jair Alexander completely falling apart, eventually getting cut and retiring. And I think that it'll be nice to have when you have a strong roster. Sometimes you need just to something like a change of pace, for lack of a better word. And I think that's what Minter can bring, and I think that's what Declan O'Doyle can bring. And I think we'll see a much improved team next year, closer to what we expected, obviously pending how free agency and the draft turn out. But I have high expectations.
Yeah. Going off of that, I do think like the sort of complacency from the Ravens for a while of just, I mean, it's similar to Buffalo, just like you have this franchise quarterback who's like on his way to Canton, and you just never get over the hump. Like something's got to give. And I think I do agree with what the Ravens did by firing Harbaugh. I think they haven't made a Super Bowl in 13 years, 14 years, and they haven't gotten past the AFC Championship with Lamar. And we've had great rosters. Like I think going into the season,
We all had them winning the AFC.
we all had them winning the AFC. Like it's not a roster issue necessarily, but it was really execution. It was injuries. It was like including Lamar missed like 4 or 5 games, and Zach Orr wasn't great. Tom Logan wasn't great, but hey, that got him head coaching job. So we're gonna. But I do think they need a strong voice. I think Minter can do that, and the Ravens are one of those organizations like the Steelers who just are very committed to like I think he'll be their 4th coach in their franchise's history, and they've been around for 30 years. So like it really is really like a sort of breaking point, and I really admire the aggressiveness, and I think Jesse Minter what he did in LA with like if you win it, like going into the season and you think, oh, Tarheeb's still like he cannot be your number 1 corner, and then he was excellent. Derwin James been an All-Pro again. We have Tui Pelotu balling out. You got Tierre Tart getting a $30 million extension. Like it was just a really good unit, and for the first time in this Justin Herbert era, it's like the defense is what you're sort of holding out for. And the big thing with the Ravens is Nabi Madubuike ever playing again, and that is an issue. But I think what he did with comparably like lesser resources with what is capable of being like an elite level offense is, I think, a good recipe, and that really stems with the Doyle hiring. And I think
Yeah.
what he did in Chicago alongside Ben Johnson can be. I think does a really good job by the Ravens on all cylinders, and I'm excited to see where they go next year.
Yeah, I mean, I'll add, I think the reality a year ago when Minter, I think everybody was a little surprised that Minter wasn't being named in some of these searches. And they struggled mightily against the run, right? So what do they do this offseason? They address that. They get a bigger interior defensive line. The Khalil Mack plays more games, and they really looked so much more sound as a defense in preventing explosives with the better personnel. So I think Minter. We talk about what he's doing with less. I think we need to talk about what he's done with more as well, and who's so crucial to the success of that team. So I think getting more hypothetically on paper in Baltimore, there's a lot of good pieces that we've named. I think there's only room to grow. So yeah.
It's a stacked defensive line class, so hey, that's probably where they're going to go. So.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, my final note on it will be that Mahomes will miss time next year with the ACL injury. This is as wide open as this year, and next year will be as wide open as the AFC will be. And you had to make a hire that kept you competitive in there with a top 3 quarterback in the league, and a guy who might end up being top 10 all time. So you just gotta get in there. You gotta win the Super Bowl with this window.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Is it my turn to pick? Because I can just do. I'll run the same game. The Bills are playing the same game here of top 20 guy who's going to be a top 20 quarterback all time. Top 15.
He's already top 20.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe just top 10 all time. He's going to get up there. I mean, he's probably the best quarterback in the league right now.
Yeah.
They hired Joe Brady. They made a promotion. I love it. I've been on the Joe Brady train since he was promoted offense coordinator in LSU in 18, 19, whatever the year before the off season before the Burrow resurgence. I don't know if anybody watched college football like me and Carter did back in 2018, eighth grade. But Joe Burrow sucked. Joe Burrow was terrible. And my favorite memory of watching Joe Burrow play bad football is me and Carter on the phone together. And they were playing Florida, and Joe Burrow threw a pick six. He threw it directly to Brad Stewart, and it lost LSU the game. It was like their 3rd loss of the year. And Joe Brady was in the building with Ed O, but he wasn't the offense coordinator. It was Steve Eastmanger. I'm definitely mispronouncing his name, but you all know who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, we need a new voice. Ed O had like a very rare he demoted Eastmanger and promoted Joe Brady, who was like 28 at the time, maybe. The offensive coordinator to lead it opens up the offense, and all of a sudden, this true freshman who had some raw talent, aka Jamar Chase, ends up being one of the best receivers in college football. The 2-star recruit Justin Jefferson, just flies out into it just the whole thing came together. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, a guy who nobody knew,
1st round pick.
Yeah. Turned into a 1st round pick, and I mean rightfully so. He was epic in college. It seems like that's just followed everywhere he's gone, to where he's been an offensive coordinator. Just talent elevates wherever he goes. I mean, he's more than proved it. I was shocked he stayed in Buffalo this year. I thought for sure in last cycle he was going to get hired. He's a great leader of men. They all rally around him. He's still going to be calling plays. He just has more of a role. I think he's earned it. I think this is the thing that keeps you competitive. They kept most of the staff in the building. I think they just needed a new voice that wasn't Sean McDermott. I'm sure Sean McDermott will get into the head coaching job next year, but I don't know. I personally love Joe Brady. I think he's just been prominent in the game on many levels for many years now. So I think he finally got a shot.
Yeah. I've written a lot about this. And I think it's become clear that I'm a little less excited as Michael is, to say the least.
And I just want to time out too. I don't think they should have fired Sean McDermott.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think this is a downgrade because it's not McDermott, but I still think that this was the best hire they could have made for that organization.
Yeah, I think I think I'm somewhere along those lines, right? I think, schematically, you want to keep what you were offensively because this was an offense that when they were running the football in a diverse amount of ways, they were as consistent as anybody, whether it was under center, or as a shotgun team. Their ability to utilize Josh Allen's legs a season ago, and then their ability to really find windows for James Cook and through all kinds of run concepts this year, I think was really important, especially with an offensive line that was weaker than it was a year ago. I do not think Joe Brady is the best play caller in the world. I think he's had his ups and downs with that. I think you saw some of that in the postseason as well. But I think, just as a guy, he's certainly more than qualified for this position. My biggest question just continues to become, what does this defense look like? Because I watched this Bills team play in that Jags game, and I thought his ability, Sean McDermott, to essentially take this group of corners and linebackers that were undersized and had a very specific limited skill set and utilize them to shut down this Jaguars offense that had been red hot by forcing them to throw to the outside and stacking the box early and often to slow the run game. I thought he came in with a great game plan. And they really slowed down one of the best offenses in football. And I have my concerns now about, I like Jim Leonhard, but what is this going to look like without one of the best defensive play callers in football? So I think that is certainly a question. And that's the reason why I'm really hesitant here. But I think as a pure guy, I am pro Joe Brady.
I think I am a lot more negative than both of you. And this may be me clouding my take on this Brady hire in a vacuum with the Bills process in general this offseason, which I've been less of a fan of. To me, it feels as if they've decided to blame everything on Sean McDermott. And honestly, I can't even say it's my feeling. They have blamed everything on Sean McDermott. They've fired Sean McDermott and decided to let Brandon Beane stay. And then in a post-game interview, or in the postseason interview, the exit meetings or whatever, they proclaimed that they only drafted Keon Coleman, who was still a member of the Buffalo Bills. That this is a player that they selected solely because of Sean McDermott's input. I didn't care much for the offensive play calling throughout the season. I think in general, the scheme was fine, but I think on a play-to-play basis, it was perplexing at times.
I agree.
I thought the Jaguars postseason game was almost the pinnacle of that. The most it seemed as if, for me, their offense all season felt as if they kind of were good, but they would have been a lot worse if they had a league average quarterback. And I know that sounds like nothing because obviously the offense gets a lot worse if you turn Josh Allen into a league average quarterback. But I say that to say so much of it felt like it was predicated on the fact that they had such a good quarterback, and not much of it was based on the scheme itself. And in a situation where you've already fired the head coach, giving your GM a promotion and now giving your offensive coordinator promotion, it's just not something that I think I can comprehend. And maybe I'm getting too stuck in the process and I'm missing out on the vacuum of Joe Brady as a head coach. And I may be wrong, but this is among my least favorite hires, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I would partially agree. It does feel like a LeBron or Giannis situation in the NBA. It's like, oh, get me my guy. It's like, I'm sure they went to Josh Allen first. Like, oh, who do you want? I'd like Joe Brady to stay in the building. So this probably most of the rationale, and it's fine. I don't hate him as a offensive mind. It's just more. I agree with Adam, especially like the offense wasn't necessarily the issue. Obviously, they have their personnel issues at receiver, especially. But the defense was just such a disaster, and like the Jag team was that Jag team was so well coached by McDermott that gave all of us hope that like, is this the year? Like, can they seriously do it? And then they played Bo Nix, and that was a different story. But yeah, I was perplexed by the promotion. I thought they would have just kept him as OC and then hired one of the sort of former head coaches. Like, I think Stefanski got hired before this, and Harbaugh, but there are options available, and the defense is just the big issue. I think as long as they address that, like in the draft and just the offseason, then I think it'll be okay. But this feels like a sort of Josh Allen strong arming the organization and saying, it's worked perfectly fine with my guy. I don't want to change how I've been doing things, and I kind of do feel like this sets the Bills back a little bit because there was. I mean, it also comes back to the Ravens and like all like the former longer tenured coaches leaving. It's like there is stability, but at the same time, how long does that like sort of afford you goodwill like in the like landscape of the NFL when so much is changing? So in one respect, I do understand why they fired McDermott, but in the way that they've overcorrected sort of leaves me pretty confused as to their direction.
Yeah, no, I think I would say that it was probably going to be hard to bring Brady back and not have him leave for the Raiders or the Cardinals coaching job. So from that standpoint, if you're like a Michael, where you're so passionate about Joe Brady, then I understand it from that standpoint. You know what I mean? I think the issue for some of us is just that we are less passionate about Joe Brady. But it seems Josh Allen is not that way. And I mean, that to me is the signal of this offseason, even more than the kind of like fuck McDermott, is that Josh Allen is everything to this organization. He's sitting in on these meetings. He's sitting at the table with them for this Keon Coleman press conference that we keep talking about. Like, this is the Josh Allen show. And we're going to see how it unfolds in that way. Yeah. So, speaking of the Josh Allen show, I believe we can go now to a team that the Josh Allen show had quite the rivalry with, that then went and fired their coach. And he is now going to an NFC East rival. And we can talk about John Harbaugh and the New York Giants. And I will let us go round circle, and then I'll give my thoughts.
Carter can go.
Okay. People really like this hire, and I understand why. Obviously, John Harbaugh's resume is John Harbaugh's resume. Loads of playoff appearances, Super Bowl ring. He's got it all. He's done just about everything there is to do as a head coach. With that said, I think that the right hire for Jackson Dart or any other young quarterback is usually an offensive mind. Some people disagree with that, and they think it's a simplistic thought in nature, and I recognize that. But when you have a player like Jackson Dart in particular, who is at least coming into the draft, he was perceived as pretty raw. He's played his NFL games now, and he looks more polished than at least I expected. But I think you would want to bring in somebody who is younger and is going to bring in a different offensive perspective and create a significant offensive advantage. But with that said, I think that John Harbaugh is a great leader of men. I've noticed that there's been a growing debate about quote unquote CEO coaches and whether or not they're the best coach to have or the worst coach to have. I'm dead in the middle on that in a general sense, but I think in a situation like the one the Giants are in, I would hire an offensive minded guy.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree with what you're saying. I mean, I get it. And I mean, I think a lot of this hire could be like I think like that they can determine a grade for this hire once they get an offensive coordinator. But I'm a big advocate for the CEO coaches, especially when you're bringing in young guys. Like I was against the Raiders firing Carroll solely for the fact that you were going to bring Mendoza in with a most likely was going to be a first-year head coach. And we'll get in there later, but I just think we'll get to that point later. I think there's something to be said about a guy who's been a coach for 18 years. He was the Ravens head coach coming into a situation with a team that hasn't had stability in forever, and a quarterback who's like young and polished, but still has lots of room to grow. And I mean, like this is very easily a team that could be like your 2023 Commanders or 2025 Jags, where they just shoot up because they have so much talent on that roster that just wasn't utilized well. And I think having Harbaugh there kind of just like there's just so much wisdom, and like if that makes any sense at all, like that's so I do like this hire for the Giants.
Yeah, I'm more in the middle because I mean I do agree with the leadership aspect and like the experience is valuable. I do agree with Carter saying they should have gotten a more, I guess, interesting offensive mind. I mean, the Ravens have been perfectly fine offenses in the past in the Lamar era, but under Jackson Dart and Joker, you're gonna have Malik Nabers for a full year in the fall, but. The big thing for me is sort of the that they kept Joe Shane. It's like that was like I would say this first round last year was like a sort of like a Chris Paul meme, just like to cut the lead to 43 sort of deal. It's like you got Andrew Thomas is cool, but then you get Kayvon Thibodeau, Evan Neal, Deontay Banks. You got John Michael Schmitz in the second. He might get cut. It's like it's a lot of misses and a lot of money going all over the place. And I don't know. It's similar to Buffalo. It's like you're changing, and that's the thing to do, but you're not doing it in the way that I think is sort of conducive to turning around the ship. I think Harbaugh obviously has great success with like developing players. Like consistently, the Ravens were just dominating the draft every single year. And the issue with that is that they've had great scouting departments, and the Giants are among the worst. Like when they traded up for Jackson Dart, we were like, oh, it's like I don't know. And I think Dayball did find things with him. I feel like he's probably a little salty that he left actually because he seemed to have a good thing going, and then I can't say how it's going to be with John Harbaugh. I mean, he's been around, he's had success, but relatively that sort of fizzled out. Like given that roster, the most I would say last year's Ravens and the second Lamar MVP Ravens teams, like those are Super Bowl rosters, and sort of the way that his Ravens tenure sort of fizzled out is indicative of sort of the issues that I have with this hire. Because like you got to get a guy who is more, I guess, attuned to I guess, trends, especially offensively, when you have a rookie quarterback on a rookie scale deal, and that should mean when more resources are available to surround him. But I don't know. They don't have an OC. Like that is coming from a guy who his second to last job was the Eagles special teams coach in the early 2000s. Like I don't know what to make of it.
Yeah.
And we'll see. I mean, Kingsbury's still available. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the move. But
I think
Yeah.
earlier they said it's him or Callahan. So
Yeah, that sounds good.
no, I don't know.
I mean, I like some of the ideas that Brian Callahan brought in Tennessee. I'm not gonna lie. So I think that would be interesting enough. I think my biggest thing, right? I completely understand the concerns with not bringing in the most offense forward approach, but I think this is more about organizationally what the New York Giants have been, right?
Yep.
We've talked about the Joe Shane thing, but a lot of that stems from ownership, and a lot of that stems long before Joe Shane was in this building. A lot of
that's right.
that stems to previous coaching regimes, previous general manager regimes. And so bringing in a guy who is a CEO head coach and has proven his entire record is managing personalities in that sense, right? I think that is crucial to what they're going to have building forward, just having some kind of positive outlook moving into 2026. So I'm actually more optimistic on this one. This is one of the hires I like more, and I understand why they shell out the money to be able to do it, simply because, I mean, they just couldn't continue in the direction that they were as an organization. So, yeah.
I think it definitely puts a little bit of a ceiling, but
Mhm.
I think it could make them make the playoffs, certainly.
Yeah.
But, like, not as far as the sort of rest of the regime takes them. So
Yeah. It's definitely lower reward, that is for sure. But I mean, if you're a Giants fan,
You should be
I think
happy,
the
yeah.
Mara family would kill to make the playoffs at this point.
Yeah.
Like,
They might.
Yeah.
Jackson Dart was fun.
So, yeah, schedule's easy. Just saying. All right, Carter, hit
The
us.
division's really good.
Yeah.
Regarding
Oh, do you got a coach?
come back to me. Hang on. Come back to
Okay.
me.
Ethan, go.
Okay, Clint Kubiak. I think it's a neat hire. I think what he's been doing in Seattle is excellent. We're going to get to the awards later, but he's up for that assistant coach of the year. And I do agree with Michael, like the CEO head coach, like you need a strong sort of vision to lead this Fernando Mendoza era. And I think he's with experience, but I think Kubiak can do it. I think he's a very sort of interesting hire, and what he did, especially in the run game, could be super interesting with Ashton Genty. Like, come on. The issue is they don't have a line. It's like it is a very sort of contingent on lots of upheaval. So in one breath, I'm like, okay, this is a sick hire. You get a great offensive mind to lead your rookie quarterback who took the nation by storm, and you have a running back going his second year who was a runner-up for the Heisman and was, all things considered, like pretty good. But
And you get Brock Bowers.
there's a lot of and Brock Bowers, and you have a lot of moving parts on the roster. Like, is Max Crosby going to be on the team next year? Like, that's a serious question mark. And
I mean, yeah, if he really wanted out of there, he would have been gone by now.
yeah, I don't know.
Way gone.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he wants to be gone. I think it's more up to if they want him gone. But I think he's a strong candidate to sort of turn the Raiders around from being like a complete joke. And I'm kind of I would feel bad for Pete Carroll in a sense, because like he has got a pretty rough sort of gig, because it was okay. You get your quarterback from Seattle, and then actually nothing else is good about this job. So yeah, as long as they invest in the line and like offensive line and get some defensive pieces and like some nice sort of positional coaches, I think it'll be a step in the right direction. I don't this is much different than the Giants. I don't think it'll be like a year turnaround thing, but I think the Raiders expect that to be the case. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's a good hire. He's consistently been doing well wherever he's been. Obviously, we talk about the CEO hires. It helps to have a guy with head coaching experience, but Clint Kubiak, the last name sounds familiar. You know why? Um, he's great schematically. He gets his guy. He's got Mendoza. He's got Jency. He's got Bowers, Michael Mayer, other random receivers that just rotate around. They have like
Jack
they have
Bass.
100. How do you have 100 million in cap? Like, I'm not worrying too hard about the offensive line because they have the 33rd pick in the draft to go get one of those good interior guys that's been floating around, or a good tackle. And they can get a good tackle in like free agency. They can get a wide receiver. They have plenty of draft capital, plenty of money, plenty of pieces to move around. It's good. They're not going to make the playoffs next year, but they could win 7 games depending if they have a good. And then we're looking at 2027. 2028 is years where they could be on the uprise of the division. It's a good hire. I like it. He's experienced. I'm so shocked that he made it this far in the search.
Mhm.
Another coach that got hired today, but we'll get to that later.
This is might be my favorite hire of the search, and it's the
Yeah.
most optimistic I've been about the Raiders in a very, very long time.
Since they traded for Gino.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Well, yeah, there you go.
I mean, you had them
There you
winning
go.
like 9 games this year, so
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't. I had them winning 7.
Yep.
But
I'll
yeah.
look at the sheet later.
I'll be looking.
I think for this Raiders team, it just was the ability to find offensively someone to pair with Mendoza and really maximize his talents. And I feel like there's a lot of similarities into what Fernando Mendoza is thrives in and what Sam Darnold thrived in this year. As far as just his ability to get the ball out quickly with rhythm, and his ability to kind of handle the stuff at the line of scrimmage for an offense. And I'm not saying they're going to thrust all those responsibilities on him right away, but a lot of the checks, a lot of the motions that are working within that Seattle offense are things that Fernando Mendoza had to handle at Indiana as well, and he did very well in doing so. So I'm really excited to see how they do this. I'm really excited to see him play with Brock Bowers in the same way he got to play with Jackson Smith and Jigba. It's like his new little toy. It's going to be really, really fun in Las Vegas for the first time in a good while. I know the defense is missing a lot. I wish they got to keep Patrick Graham. I'm sure we'll talk about him in a bit, but this is an optimistic hire for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I also think this is one of, if not my favorite hire of the cycle. In most circles, I say I was the first Fernando Mendoza fan. I think that'd be disrespectful to Adam to say that in this space. But I've been a fan of Mendoza for a long time.
You might have been the last one in this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been a fan of Mendoza for a long time. I like what he did at Cal, and I think he keeps getting better. And I think Clint Kubiak has proven to me that he is good at ironing out the flaws in quarterbacks. I think, in particular with Sam Darnold, one thing that's always been a hindrance for Sam Darnold is he's never responded to pressure well. In 2025, he had a career low in his sack percentage. And obviously some of that attests to not being on the Jets anymore and playing on more pulsating offensive lines. But still, I think that I saw an improvement from Sam Darnold that I didn't even really feel like was there from 2023 to 2024 that I did think I saw now, or perhaps a more noticeable improvement. I hope that getting him the quarterback that we assume that they're going to take, it'd be a shock if they took anybody else. I think that he'll be able to do great things, and they'll be able to experiment with the offense. Obviously, there's still holes on that offensive line, and it's far from a finished painting, but I think that they can build something special there in a few years.
Absolutely.
Carter, you got one, or are we
Nothing
going to go to
like
Michael?
Carter.
Yeah, I'll go ahead for the other coach of today, the other coaching hire of today. I'll go for Mike LaFleur to Arizona. Um, that was one that I like less. I I think it's a fine hire. I think it's a fine hire. I also think that he would not have been my first choice. Um, if it was me, and I think this is a bit unpopular, my ideal situation would have been Mike McDaniel, who I believe the reports were he wanted to be in California anyways. But I think Mike McDaniel would have been my first choice if I could have made it happen. And so I think anything else would be disappointing. And furthermore, I think that with no disrespect intended to Michael Floor, I think that he's getting a bit more credit as an offensive mind that he deserves simply because one, his name is LaFleur, and two, he works in Los Angeles. I think he is a good coach, but I think that is going to become, or I think he can be a good head coach, but I think it'll become one of the more overrated hires of the year. Just not my preference. I think I would have went in a different direction.
Yeah,
Maybe I would have looked at.
Sorry.
I would have looked at kind of. I don't know what the word I'm looking for here is.
Established.
I think for them, it wouldn't have hurt to just like throw something at the wall with a very unproven. Obviously, Mike Ford doesn't have head coach experience, but I would have went kind of just tried to like dig through and go outside the box because Arizona doesn't really have much going for them. I think they've got room to experiment in a way that Baltimore does not, and even really that Vegas does not. Yeah, I think I would have gone in a different direction.
Yeah, I mean, I think the most intriguing thing here is the quarterback situation. I mean, obviously the defense isn't bad; they have pieces. Just haven't been well coached. Obviously, again, and it was a massive disappointment. So it'll be interesting to see what the new defensive coordinator does out there with talented players on the defense. The quarterback situation is interesting because it's like you think the old management kind of ran Kyler out of town. It's like, well, they keep Kyler Murray around. Will Mike LaFleur will be like, hey, can you keep this guy who used to be good? Like, like, I might be able to do something here. Or do they just go, like, as Carter said, completely unproven direction? Like, me and Nathan had discussions and we were playing, like, a Madden rebuild together, and we gave him Joe Milton. You know what I mean? Like, there'd be, like, guys
We
like
did start Joe Milton. It was bad.
Joe Milton, Malik Willis, like, these other random guys. Like, it's a terrible quarterback class. I mean, I wouldn't, outside of Mendoza and Champ, I don't think they're going to go Chambliss at 3.
It'll be like late day 2, early day 3 if they go for quarterback. I'd say.
Yeah, like I gave Chambliss a first round grade. I think he ends up going in the second round because that's the general consensus. Like but I like him more as a prospect. I wouldn't go him at 3, and I don't think they're going to go quarterback at 3. I think they have to improve the line.
And it wouldn't positionally make like value wise really be sound.
But this might be one of those teams that just goes like Malik Willis, and then you have your choice of like Ty Simpson, Gary Nussmeier, Cade Klubnik, Connor Weigman, Brown.
Drew
Drew Aller sucks. No.
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 I'm good on that one.
But yeah, I mean, it's just interesting to see what they do with personnel. I mean, Carter kind of hit every point I was going to make, so it's a fine hire. It's I'm a proponent of spreading the McVay and Shanahan scheme propaganda. So spread it, get it everywhere.
Yeah, I would compare this unfavorably to the Giants. It's like it is a comfortably worse. I would say comfortably worse organizational situation in Arizona. It's been a disaster for about at least 10 years. It's like since Carson Palmer willed them to 13 wins. Like it has been an absolute just dump of a franchise, and that makes me not even like feel that strongly about the hire. Like he's okay. He could be a steady hand. He could make them. a lot more competent on the offensive side of the ball as opposed to when. I mean, that is also very much a personnel thing, but like when they were making Jacoby Brissett throw the ball 45 times a game, it's like something's got to change. And yeah, I think it starts with the line. Like I think they're definitely going Fano or Maui Noah at 3, and
if they stay.
yeah, I mean, yeah, if they stay there, we don't know, but the defense, yeah, like I said, has pieces. Will Johnson was good. Walter Nolan didn't play a ton. Josh Sweat had the most sacks of his career. Still got Marv on the offensive side. Michael Wilson broke out. Trey McBride's the best tight end in football. They have a lot. They have a ways to go, but it mostly stems from just you gotta get some better sort of evaluators in the room, and hopefully he can contribute in that regard. But I don't know. This feels like it was the least desired job among the 10, which is really saying something. Like that is about a third of the league.
Yeah.
And it was consistently passed up on. So
yeah, I mean, you guys have hit it all. It really is a horrible job. It is.
Yeah.
You're cap strapped. You have a GM who has gone into the media and claimed that there's talent on a roster that there simply isn't. Right? They've drafted horribly over the past couple of years, especially on the defensive side of the football. Guys like Darius Robinson, and Dalvin Tomlinson, and I mean Max Melton is a good corner, but there's just not a lot of talent on either side of the football. And besides Paris Johnson, and maybe you can say Marvin Harrison Jr.
And
Terry McBride, obviously. So I think it's definitely the worst job, and I think given that, and given the fact that I don't really know what to know about LaFleur simply because he hasn't called plays, and he's not a forward-facing person in that building. I'm not too quick to judge just because of that. So I think good on them to simply get somebody in that building, because I didn't know if they were going to be able to. I mean, they were talking about a lot of different options. So I think this is fine. I probably would have preferred Vance Joseph if that was a possibility. It seemed like that became less of a possibility as the process went on, but this is fine. This will work. All right, Michael, you go. I'll go, and then I think we should quick run the last couple so we can get these awards going.
Yeah, how deep are we? Are we like 5 coaches deep in this 10?
Yeah.
I'll do mine. I'll do that one you've all been waiting for me to do. Todd Monk in the Cleveland is a choice. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna call plays. I'm actually 100% certain he won't call plays. This is the leader of men hire. He's 60. He's been in football forever.
Are we sure he's not gonna call plays?
I feel like you would.
I feel like he's gonna call plays.
No, they're definitely letting Reese call plays again.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Tommy Reese called plays damn near all year.
Take your word for it. I can't imagine he's taking the head coaching job to not call plays.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would seem odd to me.
I mean, either way, there'll be Tommy Reese calling plays by the middle of the year anyway. When the Andrew Berry gets mad, but I like the hire. I mean, we all saw the video of him and Shedeur like embracing immediately. It all comes down to that. Like that is the talking point of the Cleveland Browns offseason. It's in any other year, Shedeur wouldn't be the guy next year. But there's no quarterbacks in the draft class, and there's no good free agent quarterbacks. It's a better option. So Shedeur's your dude. You have the opportunity now to you knock your 5th round pick out of the water. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to go into all the controversies surrounding Shedeur Sanders, but it's now how could we?
Please don't.
How could we build around that? He's a leader. He's a good leader of men. He'll be a good quarterback. Bye, Adam.
Yeah, you talk about Shedeur for 2 seconds. And this
I hope this makes the cut.
Yeah, they did better. This is like the best part, I would say.
Oh, I like it. It's fine. It's like in the middle of the pack. They were able. I mean, Sports is like mad, but he'll stay. He doesn't have anywhere else to go.
Yeah.
You keep both coordinators in the building. Like it's a good coaching
Well,
staff.
we don't know. I feel like Jim Schwartz might be back in a few weeks.
Yeah, Jim Schwartz is.
And,
There's nowhere for him to go.
live Philadelphia, man.
Vanchu's not retiring.
Yeah.
I wish I had your confidence.
Yeah.
I doubt he goes anywhere. If not, it's still a talented defense for any defense coordinator. They're so young. They have so much draft capital. I mean, it was an attractive job, regardless of how you felt about Shedder. I feel like even just with the future cap. I mean, they're 1 year away from so much money being open when you're finally free from that Watson contract. I mean, I like it. It was a good job to have. He's a fine. Yeah, he's been around football forever. If it doesn't work. It's kind of like it's safe if it doesn't work.
Yeah, it's like I would classify as like a bridge hire. Like I don't think they made this. I mean, they might have because it's the Browns. They don't know.
But yeah, it's a bridge, but it also has
the
ups.
Yeah, but it's. I think it's like if it works out, great. If it doesn't, that's fine. It's like he's clearly is invested in the organization and wants to make them better. But obviously, that can only go so far because there's a lot of baggage associated with the job. Like team, I mean, they had a great draft last year, but that was like the first time in a while that they had that kind of capital and B sort of capitalized on it. And it's obviously contingent on if they lose their DC, we've sort of been holding the team together for the past few years, and we thought we was going to get the get promoted. So
I probably would have gone first, but
yeah, I do think it as long as they have a solid draft, it's another step in the right direction. Again, it's similar to Vegas. Like they've got a lot sort of looming over what should be an optimistic situation. But I don't mind it. I don't like it either. I feel like when I saw Browns hiring former Ravens OC Tom McCullough, okay. It's like it's put him a nothing higher. Like as long as if
he's competent, it'll be
fine. As long as he's competent and he has a functional locker room, which is something that unfortunately Kevin Stefanski couldn't really do by the end of his tenure, then like that's all I can really ask for because I don't really think he'll be around longer than 3 years, but I mean, I would say he'll probably be fired by the time that they get a new first round starter, which will be next year. So I do think it's a very short term sort of situation, but yeah, I'm not mad at it, but also it doesn't move me in any meaningful way.
I feel like with who was there, who was left, the candidates at that point.
Yeah.
If you think Shedder's the guy,
well,
for his development, if that makes sense.
My biggest thing was throughout this entire draft cycle, or throughout this entire coaching cycle, I mean, the Browns process itself was the reason behind driving all of these candidates away, it seemed essentially. It was their, the reports of their Andrew Berry's, exams that he was handing these candidates and, Grant Udilski, the Jags coordinator drops out, McDaniel drops out. You know what I mean? It's the continued organizational misunderstanding of, what it means to be a head coach in the NFL in my eyes. And that's what's kind of worrisome for me. I like Todd Monken a lot. I think, he was kind of blamed for what he did in Baltimore a year ago. I thought he actually was a solid play caller. I think the Browns offense has pieces and hypothetically this could be fine. I like it a lot less if he's not calling plays. I wasn't aware of that. But I think if he is calling plays, I think this is an offense that has, the room to grow. My biggest thing once again is simply just process, right? It's the process they put the candidates through. It's the insistence that they keep Jim Schwartz. I love Jim Schwartz. I think he's a great defensive coordinator. Jim Schwartz's entire shtick is that he runs the same style of defense and does not change anything at the line and relies on his talent to win. That's great It's really stable, but I would trust whoever I'm bringing in as my coach to bring in a talent that's similar to that. And maybe it was for the happiness of the defense, but at that point, as Michael has pointed out time and time again, why not just hire Schwartz? Why not never fire Stefanski, which is the point that we're kind of looping over and over and over and over again into.
That would be because all the players hated him, and he sucked at his job by the time it got to the end.
I agree. It's true.
But
it's just true.
He's a good. He is objectively like a very good coach. It's just it wasn't gonna.
It wasn't working.
Situationally, it was over.
It's just at the end of the day, I think this front office and this ownership has time and time again proved that they have no understanding of what it means to win in the NFL. And to me, this just signals more of that to come. I was listening to a podcast and somebody actually, Michael, compared it to the David Culley, Lovie Smith thing. And I see a lot of similarities here between Lovie Smith and Todd Monken.
Yeah, so, I said it was a 1-year deal. That's what they were doing.
They were convinced Lovie Smith was the guy.
Yeah.
They thought he was the guy.
He wasn't terrible.
I think
he was terrible. He installed the 2-quarterback offense, dude.
This could be a perfect
revolutionary.
This could be a perfect 2-year, I hate to say 2-year window. Wait till you can draft your quarterback, but to be a franchise banking on that is beyond frustrating, I would say.
But I don't think Andrew Berry's banking on that because
Andrew Berry's job is on the line. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Andrew Berry's job is on the line, and Andrew Berry thinks Shedeur is the guy.
I don't know what Andrew Berry thinks, but I know it's not.
I'm just gonna reference back to what I say all the time. What the Browns' mindset is, they've looked dead in the water since the Watson trade, and we go into the Browns-Raiders game this year, and there's the random Shedeur scramble, 60-yard touchdown to Isaiah Bond, and that sideline got the most excited I've seen that sideline since they beat the Steelers in the 2020 AFC Divisional. And I think they rally around Shedeur. I think they rally around the guys they have in there already. They rally around the coordinators. It's a good group of players. It was a really good draft class. They're going to build off that. They have 15 picks. They're going to do everything they can. So they're going to do everything they can to make sure Shedeur's the guy. They're going to. They don't have a lot of money, but they have enough to play around with it. Enough until the Watson contract is off the books next year. And they have plenty of capital to make it get better. You don't really need to touch the defense. Get a line. Get another receiver. Judkins is great. They have a great run game to support him. I like this situation.
For the sake of time, I'm not going to argue with you. And I'd say
argument, so it's okay.
We're going to hit. I'd say let's each do one coach. Pick one coach that's remaining. Give your take, and we'll pass it to the next. So based on that, I'll follow in kind of, actually, I'm not going to follow in the same script because I really wanted to get this. Well, I'll leave that for you, actually. I'll leave Tennessee for you. I like the Kevin Stefanski hire in Atlanta a lot. I think, you guys have already kind of heard my thoughts on Stefanski. I think he's a great coach. I think he's going to be a great leader for the organization. I'm excited
until he tries to murder Michael Penix in the locker room.
Well,
I don't see the future being Michael Penix, so I don't see that being a problem. I think his ability to scheme open wide receivers, to make things easier for his quarterbacks over the course of his tenure was incredible. I thought they had a really strong run game over the past couple of years with a rather poor offensive line, and I think a large part of that was Kevin Stefanski's ability to marry the run and the pass. We talk about marrying the run and passing concept, and I think he did a great job of that. I think he's going to be perfect for this Atlanta Falcons team and their culture. I'm really excited to see what he does. All right, Carter, go quick.
Time.
Okay, yes, stepped my foot there with Stefanski. That's what I was going to say, but I'll go in favor of Jeff Hafley. I thought firing Mike McDaniel was a mistake, but I like Hafley. I like I like Bobby Slowick in the building, and I think that Miami can get somewhere.
Awesome, Ethan.
Okay, I don't know who's left. Who's the other guy?
McCarthy.
Salah, McCarthy.
Fucking McCarthy.
Colin
Okay, I'll talk
McCarthy.
about McCarthy. Actually, I have a lot to say. But I'll
Wow.
keep it brief. It is not sure that meme was he all he did was take one step back. That's pretty much. It's like get extremely conservative, sort of unspectacular head coach, and replace him with that like times infinity. But he's from Pittsburgh and all that. What a great story! Oh, his dad owns like a sandwich shop. Like who gives a shit? Like, I don't know. It's just. I was talking about it like in our previews. I'm like, this has to be the year for this guy. Like it's been going on for too long. And like they were a tire loop kick away from. I mean, it was the same sort of.
They still would have had a winning record though.
Yeah, it was the same sort of outcome. But yeah,
We
this
get
team
another
needed.
year of Aaron Rodgers now.
Yeah,
Like, oh,
yeah,
who
this
cares?
team needed a huge organizational reset, and just they did not. That was not the path for them, and I feel like this is it's just going to prolong what should be a reset, like an entire reset, into just another year of futility. And I mean, maybe this is finally the year. Like I said, they would go 7-10 this year. They went 9-8 this year, but yeah, I was very underwhelmed. I think the Steelers have a lot of pieces in place that they could have really made a nice like lateral move, but this is just in the same direction. Like they're not gonna get any better. They'll probably get worse. And
Yep.
yeah, it's
But the offense might
it's
look
really-
competent finally.
yeah.
Real
It's-
offensive schemes.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just it's a joke. It's really sad.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well,
It's your
last
boy.
Last
your
hire,
boy.
best hire. Robert Saleh never should have been fired. I'll stand on that. We'll stand on it till I die. Great head coach. He'll be in Tennessee forever. Dave Ball is an excellent offensive coordinator hire. They're going to make Cam work good at football, and I'm not going to be very happy. They'll go from 4th to 3rd in the division this year. So
Yeah, I mean probably.
All right. Let's hit these awards quick. See how it goes.
Okay.
We wanna
first two are easy.
Start with the big one.
Yeah, MVP. This is a layup.
Okay.
It's not like
It is a
Oh.
regular season award, guys. That is a very important
Regular season award.
distinction.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
a regular season award. And
which is why it's
I elect Drake May
That's
It's a
I like
stupid
that.
in
decision.
the regular season, and it
It's
is
Drake-
absolutely
it's
not.
Drake May.
I'm
Uh,
also
Drake
going
May.
to May.
Yep.
They're all idiots.
You
Right,
look at the
exactly.
numbers. You look at his
Yeah.
ability to do more with less.
What
Yeah.
numbers?
I
What
am-
he's not better at Stafford than anything.
He had like 600 rushing
Stafford than
yards.
anything. Oh my
Who?
god, fine. Okay, Stafford had 600 more passing yards.
We're talking
Okay.
about the running ability of Drake May.
Yep,
Yeah,
I'm talking
Okay,
about
I'm talking
the.
about
I'm talking
Matt
about one
Stafford's
of.
ability to play actual NFL teams.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I-
Okay.
that's
He had,
fine.
he had Stephon Diggs
Working
and
with
Bob
a
Douglas.
top 5
What do you want me to
offensive
say?
line in football. I mean, they're both incredible
great with the
quarterbacks.
hardest
I
strength of schedule in
understand the
football.
argument for Matthew Stafford, but I don't think you can at all discredit what
Yeah.
Drake May was able to do this season. And you can say the schedule thing, but you look at how they performed against similar opponents, and it goes Drake May's way.
Yeah.
It does, but it also goes against Matt Stafford put up
It is the
46
most-
touchdowns and 7
Puka-
interceptions
okay,
against
okay.
the hardest schedule in football.
Okay. I was
And
a
won
Stafford.
4 games.
He it's really difficult if I'm being honest. Like I do think it is the much more advanced sort of personnel and like actual talent with Stafford against the schedule, or the worst talent against the worst competition. Like I think Drake May is just a little bit better. I don't feel strongly about it. I've liked Stafford for most of my football watching life. Like I'm not going against him. I think he's going to go to Canton in
With an MVP.
a few years. Like
With an
Yeah.
MVP award.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I'll be happy if Stafford wins. I feel like to discredit what Drake May's done this season.
But it's not discrediting Drake.
It is.
May.
It
It's
absolutely
giving the
is.
guy-
It's-
It's giving the guy who was
it's-
the best quarterback in the league this year his flowers for MVP.
Drake May was the best quarterback in the league this
No, the guy.
Yeah. I'm hearing you correct.
No, you're not.
All right. For the sake of time, offensive player of the year.
McCaffrey.
I would say Bijan. Jordan Robinson. He's
Really?
great.
Okay. Give me a little on that because that's different.
He was just. I mean, oh, fuck. McCaffrey is an amazing case though. He sort of carried the load so well. But yeah, I'll change to McCaffrey. He won me my fantasy championship.
Yeah.
He was excellent. He really carried what was a completely just aimless sort of receiving core and became their best sort of pass catcher. So and Carter's gone.
What happened to
All right, okay, I'll go back to Bijan. He's in Atlanta. I'm sorry, I forgot that. But yeah, I think I mean Bijan Robinson was first team running back, but McCaffrey was first team all purpose, which is a fake made up new thing. So I'll say CMC. It's actually a similar sort of conversation to MVP. It's like who's better at being the most pure version of their position, which is like that's Stafford, that's Robinson. But I would say McCaffrey was he's MVP finalist, right?
Yeah, well, I thought we were gonna have an entirely different conversation, and that was Jackson.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, I think Jason.
I understand where you're coming from because this
He
has been largely a running back award.
Yeah, it's also a running back award, but also he was a
Yeah.
Pro Bowl level receiver.
Yeah,
So
that's true. That's true.
that's
I
probably-
think for me it is JSN in
I
his
don't
ability
don't
to
mind it.
become a huge part of, I mean, essentially the crux of a top 10 offense, and the amount of targets that he received and their reliance on him to work within space, I think is crucial. So I would go with him here, but I mean, like you said, I mean, Bijan is probably the most impactful, even if it came for a bad offense. So I don't mind that.
Okay. No, I switched to CMC halfway, but
You switched to CMC. CMC is hard for me because the efficiency numbers on CMC are really
not great.
tough. But Michael,
who's
looks like he wants to
EPA
go.
for playing?
I don't care about the efficiency, dude. He
Actually,
had a terrible
okay,
line and
I will
14
say we
yards
are-
and 900
Okay, we're an hour, 15 minutes in, and I was the first person to bring up EPA.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
And that was like as like an insult.
Yeah.
By the way, real ball knowers saw this the JSN breakout coming.
Yeah.
Carter, you got an offensive player of the year?
Yeah, my pick's going to be Jackson Smith and Jigba. I was very close to going Christian McCaffrey, but the efficiency ended up scaring me away ultimately too. It's tough because I think both of those players are easily the most important players on their offenses, and I think that both of their offenses go from pretty good to bad without them on it. But only Jack Smith and Jigba, partially because I just want a wide receiver to win the award. I'll be honest.
Yeah. Mike, are you JSN?
No, I said I started.
He
I
said
said
CMC.
Oh, you said CMC. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. DPOY, can we all agree this is
Come
Myles
on,
Garrett?
it's freaking Myles
Yeah,
Garrett.
easy.
Yeah, I'm going Nick Nito actually. Not playing.
Actually, I think this is Derek Stingley.
No, it's not. It's not.
Offensive Rookie of the Year. Are we all in agreement here?
I'm going Cheddar All.
Yeah, we're going to Tet, right?
Yeah.
Okay. There's
I
no
agree.
Tyler Shuck.
He
We're not
made
getting
the
Shuck tonight.
he made the Pro Football Writers as the QB1 like over Jackson Dart. So
Yeah, I think that's correct. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would take him over Jackson.
it's just. I mean, to be honest, if we're being honest, if Tyler Shuck played a full season, he would kind of have it in the bag. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Jackson Dart played bad at the end of the year. So
Hmm.
there's that too.
things to consider.
Yep.
Okay.
Defensive Rookie of the Year.
I'll say Schlesinger.
Yep,
He
I'm in
was-
complete agreement.
Schlesinger.
Yep.
Okay, I guess I'm all alone here. I've got Nick Emanuel.
Really? That's a good
awesome.
one. I like
He's
that.
awesome. He's amazing. I love him.
I think for me, for Schlesinger, it was the consistency over the course of the entire season.
Yeah.
And I mean, he became really one of the 5 best linebackers in football with his ability to play in coverage, and be a great run defender over the course of the season. But I think Emanwari, what he does in the latter half of the season is so crucial to the Seahawks defense. It's basically Shuck versus McMillan in that sense.
Yeah.
So I understand that.
Mm-hmm. I don't mind it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what do we have left?
Uh,
Coach of the year. So we're
Ryan.
gonna start killing each other.
Coach of the oh god.
Okay, I'll
We'll
say.
let Carter go first. Start the
I've
war.
got Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah,
With
yeah.
all the injuries they've experienced.
Do
we
Okay,
all
yeah.
have Kyle?
We all have
Thank
Kyle
God.
Shanahan.
Yes, let's say Kyle.
Wait,
I was
no.
thinking. No,
Now I feel like I
knew-
have to
yep.
change it.
Yeah,
No,
I was.
We're all in agreement. We're all.
Yeah, I was awaiting the first response. Then I was picking between McDonald and.
Yeah, I feel like I
Shanahan.
have to.
No,
It's
No,
really
we
close
there's no
between
graphic.
McDonald and
reacted.
Shanahan.
He's
But
eliminated from the playoffs. It's not like we're gonna
Yeah.
jinx
we all
shit. I mean, actually, we can.
reacted.
There's
We
more
have to
time
move
to
on
that.
now. We can't
Yeah.
react like that.
I
Yeah,
just-
it's locked in. Locked in.
What he did, Carter, you could finish, but what he did was so important. And
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
unbelievable.
I'm going to say the same thing. All the injuries they've experienced. Not a single key player on that team basically stayed healthy for the entire season, and to make the playoffs, to contend for the division, to win a playoff game, even though the playoff game won't be considered, it's hard. It would be hard for me to pick anybody else, because if you told me in the beginning of the season they experienced as many injuries, with Bosa, Purdy missing time, Fred Warner missing a lot of the season, Kittle missing all that time, it'd be hard for me to even imagine them winning more than like 7 games. So I can't go against Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, I mean, just bring a
guess.
team that started
Yeah.
Mac Jones for majority of their games to the
That-
playoffs.
well,
It's insane to
okay.
me. The big 25, 26 now.
Yep.
Yeah, he's. I mean, it's funny for this to be the year, and it's
Yeah.
not going to be the year he gets recognized. I think McDonald's going to win it, but it'll be funny if this was the year he gets recognized after all these years of people, putting up historic offense and people finding a way to poke a hole. It's the year that they are not a historic offense and they're running Mac Jones at a quarterback, and he somehow finds a way. It would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think McDonald has another strong argument, and
Yeah,
Vrabel has a strong
absolutely.
argument
Absolutely.
too. And Cohen.
Yeah.
Like they're all. I wouldn't be mad at anybody winning.
No,
Yeah.
it's a strong class.
My heart would be a little happy if Vrabel won, but
Yeah,
he's
I mean,
already
that's-
got one. He's already got one. So
Yeah.
we're doing Oscar rules or MVP rules. It's like, well,
All right, we had
we have assistant
coach?
Yeah.
all right.
Kubiak.
Yep.
Yep.
If everybody's going Kubiak, I'll go Vic Fangio to be different, since we all had Shanahan too.
Yeah. I would say my heart says Fangio, but the way that Sam Darnold just dotting up people in 2026 was just.
I mean, if we're being honest, I think the most impressive ability to do more with less is Flores in Minnesota, with the amount of time that defense was on the field this season and what they were able to do with it over the second half of the season. And actually, you know what? The Eagles' offense per advanced stats was about just as bad as the Vikings' offense at certain points. So I think Carter actually probably
and Max
the
Brosnan.
Fangio argument. But yeah, I gotta give it to Kubiak. I think what he was able to do was so impressive in putting this. I mean, they took a big risk this offseason and bringing him in essentially and changing their entire offensive infrastructure in order to fit what he wanted to do. And the swing has completely worked out. So you gotta give credit where it's due.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the finish with a bang.
It's the
Protector of the year.
Yeah.
Garrett Bowles.
I understand that.
I'm going both as well.
Oh my god! I thought
I'm
this
going
was
Miners. I am.
Yeah.
I think you got to go from the same line, and I think he's the best player on that line. I
Yeah.
understand positional value, but I think he's just was so dominant in his role. I don't think he let up a sack this season, so it's crucial for that.
Yeah. Let me just. Okay. D3 legend, Wisconsin Whitewater.
Yep.
Quinn Miners. Okay.
We swam with them.
Whoa.
We swam with them this training trip.
Okay. So
There's some characters.
yeah, I mean, I do all these psychotic documents, and I put this guy Quinn Miners. Like, I couldn't find. I had to make the colors myself. I usually have a database for that, and like, fucking Wisconsin Whitewater. Like, what the hell? And then he dominated the Senior Bowl, and then now he's the best lineman in the league. Like, second consecutive year as a first team All Pro. He said didn't go up a sack. Like, it's tricky for these awards because like you got to be like a film like demon to actually have like a true like opinion on it. But hey, if you say you didn't give up a sack, then like
Yeah. Well, and going back and watching film over the course of these playoffs, it is this Broncos interior offensive line that allows the Knicks to have the rush lanes to be able to scramble and work outside of structure. So I think it's understandable. And I think any piece of that Broncos offensive line, when I did my All-Pro thing this week, I had 3 Broncos offensive linemen on the starting line just because they were one of the most important units in the NFL this season. I think that specifically has to be recognized.
yeah.
My offensive line coach in high school, we watched Quinn Ryder's draft film.
He did ball. He did ball.
He did ball. I've been on the Quinn Ryder's train since forever.
There we go. All right, Carter, you got to help us out because I wasn't here the last time you guys closed the show because you guys did the baseball thing and I fell asleep. But so I have not been here to allow you the opportunity. At the end of every show, we fire somebody. And
we all need to be fired. You know why we all need to be fired?
Well, Carter gets to pick who we fire.
But I know, but we all need to be fired because we scheduled this during the Grammys and we all missed Sabrina Carpenter before.
Who said I don't have the Grammys on right now?
Did you? And you didn't share Manchild for us?
No.
Hang on. With that in mind, can I fire anybody? Like anybody on Earth?
That's allowed.
I fired the Recording Academy for their selection for GMX as Best Rap Album of the Year.
Oh, I agree.
Are we gonna get into this?
I agree.
I'm going with Let God Sort Him Out. I'm going with Let God Sort Him Out.
Yeah, you know what? That's
I thought that was the whole. Yes.
Okay. I was a little worried when you said that you were gonna say like it should have been. God, what else was? It was the Jid, right?
It was a Chromacopia and Gorilla.
Yeah, Gorilla. All right. We are firing.
No, turtle tick was that yet? I was gonna make a joke that it should have been a turtle tick too, but that was 2024.
We are firing the Recording Academy. Hopefully, Let God Sort Him Out. We'll have one album of the year by the time you guys hear this. Thank you guys for watching as always.
Fire Dave Dombrowski.
Yeah.
I got it.